All right, for the second part of segment one, we covered the Zenithian factions. Now we're going to cover the Firstcome factions. You know, the weirdos who got here first. They didn't leave first. They cheated, but they got here first. Tortoise and hare kind of thing going on, except for this time the hare won. It didn't sleep. Just
like every other time in history. Yeah.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah. So got here first, and we're going to talk about what makes the Firstcome factions different from the Zenithian factions in just a moment. We believe that role-playing games should take place in fantastic worlds. The focus of the game should be on role-playing and having a good time. The core values of #RPGate and any good tabletop group are escapism, not representation, entertainment over activism, and natural, organic inclusion, not forced diversity. The charity we support is the Wounded Warrior Project, a national, nonpartisan organization whose mission is to honor and empower wounded warriors. Please refer to the description below for the link to where you can make your hopefully tax-deductible donation. Join us Thursday and Saturday evenings on twitch.tv/Legion of Myth to watch Heathen Dog and his team of dirty casuals play multiplayer games for your mockery and enjoyment. Here on our YouTube channel, you can watch these game-related segments live every Sunday at 1 p.m. Central Time, or check out the Friday night show stream where our panel of guests opine, comment, and editorialize on the TTRPG hobby as a whole. Please like this video and leave a comment to appease the algorithm gods. Share this video on your favorite social media platforms to help us peer out of the shadows cast over us. And if you have not done so already, please subscribe to Legion of Myth for more tabletop RPG goodness. All right, boom, we got our book up there again. Coriolis, the Third Horizon. Let's go to the page. Oh, I thought that was the page. Did I? Oh, the Draconites. Yeah, Draconites should be the first one. Yep, they are. All right, it's not going to be there. Let me actually scroll back to, was it 190? I want to show this right here. So I don't know why these were in the nice order, weren't they? That was the order that we did them in. This one, it's not in the right order. This is an alphabetical order, but apparently when they put the book together, they decided to start with the Draconites. So we're going to start with them. Let's go back to 2, 4. There we go. Draconites. Through conflict, the truth. And that actually has a little bit deeper meaning than you might take away at first. And here's how I'll say it, because you're going to get it in just a moment. They really do believe in purification through the fight. That's the best way I can say it. So the Draconites hide their egocentrism behind intricate rituals and imposing robes. Their opponents are to be believed. Okay. Few factions have an air of mystery as that which surrounds the Draconite Order. They're renowned for their fearlessness in both combat and diplomacy, and are said to make no distinction between the two. The faction originated in the part of the crew of the Zenith that valued resolve and willpower above all else. They viewed the commanding officer, Kusar, and Eurydice families to be too entrenched in the discussions about what to do with the colonists in stasis, and instead went ahead and woke them up. Like, yeah. You know,
well, you know what? So far, this faction is holding a little piece of my heartstring, a little bit, you know,
okay.
Because sure, saying, you know, conflict, whether it be physical or confrontational, as in like, you know, words, diplomacy or whatever, is aggressive, and it creates snap judgments and outcomes. But the opposite is worse. Endless committees keep debating over and over, and nothing gets done. I'd rather do something that's not 100% correct than do nothing at all. And that's exactly what these guys are about. So here we are.
You know, it's funny. I say that at work. I would rather you make a bad decision than no decision.
Yeah.
All right. So they just like, you know what? Let's go ahead and wake them up. They were among the first to leave the Zenith after the awakening, disappearing into the dark. Like,
they were asked to leave, probably.
The doors open up and they're like,
bye, get
out. Whatever it was that they found out there among the debris and ruins on abandoned worlds, no one knows, but they quickly became the stuff of legends. Ghosts seldom seen, but intensely discussed. The stories claim that their travels in the dark between the stars turned them into something cold and purely egotistical. When they re-entered the light of civilization, they did it as a disciplined faction of warrior philosophers possessing secret truths the other factions could only dream of.
So far, sounds like a good deal. I'm liking this so far.
Okay. The Draconites wield advanced technology with obvious elements of the lost wisdom of the old horizons. How they've acquired this technology is unknown, but whispers in the shadow tell of unspeakable pacts with hidden orders from before the Portal Wars, or even alliances with creatures beyond human comprehension. Draconites themselves say nothing. But real quick, before you go, just so you know, so you don't think this is all allegory, there are actually creatures beyond human comprehension in the game.
Sure. But here's the problem with creatures that are beyond human comprehension.
Okay.
They're not going to give you human stuff. They're not. No, they're just not. They're not. Because it's not within their comprehension. Because they're not human either. Yeah, so
because you said that,
which they think
I
is
now
better.
have to read the entire next paragraph instead of just the first sentence.
Oh, God damn it.
Good job.
Sorry.
The organization of the Order is secret, but they would seem to operate in cells centered on strong leaders with a minimum contact between the individual groups. Or, thanks to Heathen Dog, perhaps someone or something is pulling the strings from the shadows, guiding the faction towards some obscure goal.
Nah.
The philosophy of the Order is the subject of much debate and the most outlandish of theories. That they emphasize conflict as a metaphysical concept is clear to anyone. They regard it as a form of both personal and collective growth. Even though most would think this is a very violent approach to the world, some say this is just as much about inner conflict, about the perpetual struggle with the impure parts of the self that the Draconites seek to confront and defeat their inner demons. Remember, we're on the Firstcome side, which is much more religious and philosophically oriented.
But the whole thing is, I really like this because it doesn't say they are violent.
Right?
They can? Sure.
Yep.
And they consider verbal conflict the same as physical conflict, which means you have to win, you have to destroy your enemy, blah, blah, blah. But when you destroy someone in words, the next day, guess what happens? That other dude wakes up, right? It's better than killing them. Objectively, objective morality wise, it's better than killing them. They lose, but they live to fight another day and possibly get better. That's awesome. That's awesome. I love this.
So this is in many ways reflected in the Order's worship of the Lady of Tears in her cold and strict form, the Executioner. Her sword is sharp and always ready for whoever breaks the traditions or codes of the Order, but also for the weak of heart. The Executioner protects any and all who are in control of their own lives and who choose their own death. If you're weak, you chose to die by being weak.
Yeah.
No home or hearth. No one knows the location of the Draconites' headquarters. The Order is present in many places throughout the horizon. Oh, that's only half page. But usually only with one or a few members. There's much speculation about the Order's actual size and distribution. They were recently offered a seat at the Council of Faction, perhaps motivated by the consortium's sticking to the logic of keep your friends close but enemies closer.
Well, it's not just that. It is basically that. But if you put them on the council, they're more visible. It'll be harder for them to hide their secrets if they're more in the open. I get it.
Well, I mean, they have a face, but yeah. All right. Now we're going to talk about the Church of the Icons. There is only one salvation and only 9 ways that will lead you there. The movement called the Church. Oops, hold on. Some of these I don't read all the way through. Okay, good. All right. The movement called the Church of the Icons is a faction both old and new, resting on a basis of ancient cults, but founded in the modern age, preaching the modern ways of the faith. And did you notice that there were 2 religious factions in the Firstcome?
Yes.
This isn't the only one. The exact origin of the Icon faith has been lost to time, but everyone knows that it was introduced to the Third Horizon by cultists and believers from the First Horizon. Now, the First Horizon is all imperial and so forth, and, somewhat stable, I guess you'd say. All but one of these cults, the Circle of Seekers, are dead today, but their religious practices have been all but abandoned by the general population. Instead, the Church of the Icon has become the dominant religious faction. They're the Horizon's youngest faction and have grown strong through collecting, canonizing and institutionalizing the wide, sprawling faith that has existed for centuries. This faction took all the writings and mashed into what they say. This is our Quran, our Bible, our whatever. So they're the ones that put all that stuff together, and they're really preaching their religion here as kind of, it's the amalgamation, but it's like the one true way. Well, if you look at the Bible was written over how many thousands of years, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's all, I'll stand on the backs of everyone else who had good ideas, put it all into one book and resell it, trademark free now, and I'll get all the money and power. That's basically what they did.
The key difference between the church's doctrine and the iconic folklore is that this faction denies the duality of the icon's temperaments and vengefulness. Instead, the church preaches that evil exists within humans themselves, and that it is released when the dark between the stars enters someone's life.
There's some holes in that logic, but okay. Carry on.
All right. The Seekers have a reputation for being skillful negotiators. They have often been called upon to end bitter conflicts, such as the Gesellim riots on Elgol and the aftermath of the bloody massacre of the Moon of Menkor. Apart from this, the Seekers generally keep a low profile. On Coriolis and in other places, they run meditative stone gardens where believers and Seekers can come to find peace.
Yeah, I'm sure that's all they do too. There's no underground evilness in those churches of solitude. I'm sure it's fine.
The Church of the Icons calling is to unite all the peoples of the horizon in one true faith, and the mission is therefore the first of the sacred rites. Missionary expeditions depart regularly from the core systems out to the star arms, often carrying both missionaries and seekers. I think it's straight down here. Here are the sacred rites. The mission, which we just talked about, life-bound, creed, blessing, fast, confession, pilgrimage, giving of alms, and the prayer. You can read more about that later. We're only going to talk about talismans now. The faithful often carry a talisman representing their favorite icon. Something the church has been trying to change, because, we have to have our own symbol. We don't want 9 symbols out there. We want our own unified symbol, encouraging believers to carry a silver sideways 8. The symbol of the church. The sideways 8 symbolizes the 8 visible icons, with the empty spaces representing the faceless one, but is also the symbol of infinity in Dabaran mathematics. Arabic.
Okay.
So, the reason I read that was so that, if you're looking around and you see people wearing some infinity symbols, you know what you got, you know what you're going to be dealing with. Mm-hmm. Now we have Ahlam's Temple. Or in English, Alam's Temple. Every human is a world of its own.
Oh God, self-absorbed drivel. Jesus. I'm just as important as not just everyone else, but every other collective too. I'm equal to anything that's greater than me, because we're all worlds unto each other. Shut the fuck. Get out.
I just like the fact that this was written in proper English for once.
Well, that's fine.
So, the faction of Alam's Temple is a systematic explorer of the mysteries of the experience and the senses. You're going to see a very well-known science fiction theme here in just a second if you haven't already. To the public, the faction is best known for its inimitable courtesans. I cannot say that word, and I should know.
Space Wars. Just say Space Wars. It's fine.
You're going to get kicked off the ship. What am I talking about here? Okay. Like the Seekers, Alam's Temple is an old cult, but instead of the religious traditions of the Seekers of or the church, the temple's foundation is the eternal importance of the present.
Yep.
To the temple, live in the now, baby, live in the now. To the temple, the icons represent the human soul's different positions, both spiritual and physical. Just like the Church of the Icons, the temple seeks to spread its philosophies. The knowledge of the purity of the present will help the people of the horizon lead better lives. You know what? Horan is good for you.
Yeah, this whole faction is just absolute degeneracy, and I'm not about it. This is...
The teachings of Alam are applied to everything from dance and art to judiciary theories and politics. The Judicators' interrogation methods, which don't use torture, are based on Alamite theory. The origin of the teaching stem from Miran temple dances and poems from before the Portal Wars. Esteemed philosophers like Haram Hassam and poets like Jasmine Sadat developed the heritage into the Temple of Alam of today. Okay. The temple is mainly famous for the courtesan academies they run in Coriolis and Mira. The education there is completely focused on the 8 arts of pleasure. Only 8? Dang. Apart from the courtesans, many influential rhetoricians. Okay, I know what rhetoric is, but how do you say that? Rhetoricians? Is that a word?
Yeah.
I've never
I
heard
don't
that word.
know, but
We'll go with it. I literally never heard that word in my life. Rhetoricians, prophets, entertainers, and officers have attended the academies. Both Zenithian Hegemony and the Bulletin regularly send employees and aristocrats. Did it again? Aristocrats to the. It's like I have that. Like I don't even know the movie. I haven't seen it in many years. I've said it twice today. That's weird. Aristocrats to the academies to be taught the mysteries of subjectivity and sensory input. No, objectivity. What the hell? See, this is okay. Well, I tend to understand the Firstcome. This is not my favorite faction.
No, that just a bunch of gimp suit wearing degenerates. That's all they are. Just worthless. There's subtleties. No, there's not. You're a dirty degenerate that wants to destroy society. So go die in a hole.
A part of the temple's less spoken of is the Black Lotuses, courtesans who've been trained in the 9th art. Oh, the pleasure of death. These assassins played a crucial role in the destruction of the Nazarene sacrifice, but how active they really are today is uncertain to outsiders. You're not a Klingon? You don't have the pleasure of death?
I'm not a fan of sex ninjas. All right, I'm not.
More about sex ninjas over here. Aside from the proxy technology, rumors say that the philosophers of the temple can create memes of their own. By manipulating light, sound, and biosignals, the so-called mematurgs can make people believe or do things that are not true to their nature. For the philosophers and teachers of the temple, the use of memes is just a means to an end, a way to achieve enlightenment. Although the same memes could be used to control people. Like, we would never do that.
That's only 98% of what it's used for.
It's not without reason that the saying goes, a courtesan's whisper is a bond for any man or woman. Why did you finally do punctuation correctly here? Sorry, I can't let that go. Rumors say that the Black Lotuses of the faction are trained to use simple verbal means. Other examples exist in mematurgs. Mematurgs, words such as famous tyrant Drit Zoerden, who controls parts of the Drit system with his followers. Tales of the Jinn also say that they can sow thoughts into the minds of people. This is one thing I hate about games that try to be culturally relevant. This isn't part of English lexicon.
No. But what they're doing is creating new words by merging English and Arabic into some hodgepodge bullshit nonsense that no one can pronounce correctly and just makes people feel dumb.
Zyben system.
Like this whole faction.
Mematurgs. I don't know. I mean, I can say Ginny, although I said Jin. I know that. It's just habit, but all right, let's go on to a better faction.
I'm really glad that's over.
The Pariah. I'm sorry, the Order of the Pariah.
The Order of the Pariah. Yeah. It's almost as cool as the Federation of the Nomads as for stupidest name ever.
Hey, guess what? Guess what comes after this one?
Yeah, I got it.
Yep, guess what comes after this one? And look at this great motto: "The end is near." I just picture him standing on a car with a mic, with a megaphone,
sandwich board, megaphone. Yep, the end is near. Repent now. Give me money.
The Order of the Pariah has an ambivalent reputation in the horizon. On the one hand, its work is the stick. God. I'm going to be able to read at some point. Their work with the sick and the poor on Coriolis is greatly lauded. But at the same time, people whisper about their bloody war crimes during the Portal Wars. And the crusade against dissidents in their home system, Zalos. But doesn't that sound like a strong religion?
Sure. And
kind of an Inquisition thing?
Is near the end.
Yeah.
A singular end to everyone else.
Yeah. Like, we help the sick and poor, and we kill all others.
Yeah.
All right. What am I talking about here? Okay. On Coriolis, the order is known as the Samaritans.
Aw.
They run a hospital, a sanatorium for the hyper sick. Is that beyond regular sick?
Apparently so.
A poorhouse, several soup kitchens, and a renowned medical school. The medical students become neophytes of the order, and their education is heavily influenced by the faction's religious views, but all the students are offered generous scholarships for the duration of their training.
Well, sure. You have to get them young, right?
Jedi power.
Sure.
When they graduate, they are often offered employment by groups who are otherwise less than friendly towards the order. A good indication of the quality of the school. The Samaritans appear the perfect believers, helping their fellow human beings out of the kindness of their hearts. This reputation is kept intact in Coriolis thanks to the Samaritan part of their work. The memories of the Order's involvement in the atrocities of the Portal Wars are not something the station's mainly Zenithian population keeps alive, which is interesting when you consider that they're a Firstcome organization and Coriolis is mostly Zenithian. I don't care about the council. Outside of Coriolis, the name Samaritans is frowned upon. Here, the order is known as martyrs and have entirely different reputation. Symbol, the martyr's crown stirs feeling of unease in almost everyone.
Yeah, man. It's not comfortable looking.
And we actually remember your history out here. Stories from the Portal Wars speak of the order as fanatic martyr worshippers, merciless in combat and without any concern for their own lives. Their enormous monastery cruisers are said to have carried both crusaders and flagellants into battles, a rumor that is still prevalent. I don't know what that means, but I'm guessing that this means suicide ships.
Well, for the flagellants, yeah, probably. I mean, they want to punish themselves to purify that, but that's what they all do. You know, purify themselves so when they die, they'll go to a good place rather than a bad place. And the best way to do that, kill yourself and take the enemy with you. 100% good.
Can I choose not the first part?
No.
Oh. The Order of the Pariah is of first-come descent and worships the martyr. That's surprising. The icon commonly known as the Judge. Now, do you remember from the combat example I did what the Judge gives you bonuses in?
I remember it did, but I don't remember what it was.
Combat. They were an active party in the Portal Wars and closed their home system. Oh, yeah. So they're an active party in the Portal Wars and closed their home system zealous at the end of the war, not opening it until many years later, when the Consortium dispatched the Legion to demand passage. We're about to see history repeat itself. Oh, yeah, this pattern is now repeating itself. Zalos has been closed once again since one of the emissaries, the space ghost from the giant gas giant, proclaimed itself the Judge Incarnate. A sacrilege, according to the Order. Screw you guys. No. Go home. We're taking our ball. We're going home. We're wrapping ourselves in our blankets. My pillow fort is built. You don't get to be here. I'm joining this group. It is likely only the fact that the space station at Xene is owned by the Foundation, and thus, by extension, the Consortium, that has kept the Order from showing their more aggressive side in the Kua system as well. A certain amount of fear always arises when their ships dock at Coriolis, however. Their hulls depicting cataclysmic scenes of war. You know what I'm painting on my house? Not nose art of, some bikini-clad woman or something. No. Let's show the end of the world on our ships. And the dock workers whispering about onboard ossuaries filled with the sacred bones of martyred warriors.
Sure. I mean,
you're
hey,
gonna go creepy.
What is the best way to show your outlook on life without having to say a word? Tattoo on your main conveyance children getting buckets and buckets of candy from your ship. Show it. Yeah. No, it's good. It's candy for kid shit. Yeah. Everyone's going to love you, right? No, man. You show the end of the world. It's the same thing. They think you're going to bring the end of the world. They don't like you. They don't want you around. You freak people out.
Especially remember, everybody here knows that the darkness between the stars is a real thing. Now, what that real thing is, they don't fully understand, but they know it's a real thing. We talked about it last week. Staying awake when you just, I'm going to stay awake during this portal jump. Bye. So the Order's bionics and fleet. Well, this might be interesting, right?
Okay.
Another reason for concern is that the Order possesses a unique form of biotechnology that, among other things, enables the creation of the animate suits of armor their elite holy warriors use. We'll look at that in a second. The first reports of this armor came from bulletin correspondents who smuggled information out of Zalos about the Order's relentless hunt for religious dissidents. They are on a holy war at all times. The technology has again become a topic of discussion on Coriolis as more and more people expect the day when the Legion will turn their weapons against the Order is fast approaching. Now, how effective was the Legion, if you remember that last video? They couldn't fight a war, remember? They lost.
Yeah, they lost badly, and then they became something else because of it.
So, how large a fleet the Order commands is unclear. But given the fact that the Consortium has yet to order the Legion to open the route through Zalos with force, it's thought to be of considerable size. Or they expect the Legion to lose again.
Yeah, I mean, with the we don't know how this power armor works that they have, but I imagine it's going to be some Iron Man shit. And if they actually get down to a planet with a raiding force of substantial size, I imagine the planet will be lost, and they don't want that to happen.
Animate armor. Holy warriors of the Order cover themselves in adaptive armor that makes their bodies stronger. The armor also learns from hits taken, adjusting itself for better protection, which means you generally only get one shot at taking down a martyr warrior. This is spawned a saying, like the first hit on a martyr, describing the action that has no effect. I liken this
not like the second hit on a martyr, but yeah, okay.
I liken this to the Borg.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that's how it looks or it's got shields or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, you get one chance.
You better, if you take your shot, you better not miss.
Are you ready for the final faction?
Final faction.
The Nomad Federation.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
We know the secrets of the void. I don't know if that's what you want to say.
That is not something you put on your banner, man. If you know the secrets of the void, that means you have studied the darkness between the stars, and no one's going to trust you with their socks, let alone their lives. Jesus Christ.
I looked at the void and the void looked back, like.
Then you got to go, brother. You got to get out of here. Get out. I don't want you around.
All right. So the Nomad Federation is a collective of nomadic fleets from across the horizon, all of whom, in different ways, have come under pressure from the aggressive expansion of the other factions. So this is kind of like the factionless faction, so to speak. You know what? We'll get along because, we kind of have to. The Federation is a jumble of different families, clans, bloodlines, alliances, and tribes, all claiming nomad heritage. We're more nomad than you. We're no more nomad than you. My family's actually gypsy. Yeah, well, we were Bedouins, so... Most nomads in the Federation are from the Quadrant of the Pillar, the Rimward Reach, or Narmada. But the Kyber Swarm from Algol, the salvaged nomads from Otakon, and the Jebel and Chambi clams from Melik are also represented here. See, when you get into the game and you learn all this stuff, this probably isn't a bad thing. But, when you haven't dove into the game for like 2 years of playing it, these names mean nothing and they're hard to read. The prime goal of the faction is to strengthen the nomads against the other factions, whose claims in the horizon have grown considerably, especially since the founding of Coriolis. So essentially, these are like free, I won't call them freebooters because that has a different meaning, but they're already a clan called the Free League. How do I want to say this? They're a group of individual families, so to speak, that are kind of just huddled together. They're circling their wagons because they need to.
Yeah, when society or culture is growing, there's going to be a growing portion of the newly disenfranchised, the ones who were pushed to the fringes because they had no utility for the people that had power, or they were somehow a detriment to the people who had power. And all these people who are now newly on the fringes, well, they either gather together with their kin, also disenfranchised, or they die. And this is what they chose. which was life. Okay, I get it.
What kind of issues the faction would address at the council is uncertain, but it is likely that they would demand that the nomad culture be treated as equal to that of other peoples and act as a political opposition to the Zenithian factions.
Well, that's a good dream and all.
I mean, the Syndicate's still not on there.
Yeah.
After all, it's they, not the nomads, who are the newcomers in the horizon. This is the first time that's really addressed that, hey, you may have launched first, but we got here first and we started setting up civilization. Got to give us some credit for that. And the Zenithians are like, no.
No, you know who writes a history? The winners, loser. Get out.
In the Popular Assembly on Coriolis, the nomads have argued that the Zenithians must start respecting old laws and decrees. But up until recently, the Zenithian factions have responded to demands without interest. Something they are now beginning to regret. Suddenly, a powerful force in the Popular Assembly, the nomads have demanded a seat on the Council of Factions or else. Their threats include disruption of consortium trade in the Quadrant of the Pillar and the Free League activities in the Narmada system, and a collective strike against the prospectors in the Rimward Reach. Thanks to the impressive armada, the nomads could scramble if they wanted to. The threats are taken very seriously. However, the Giant Federation faces a huge internal problem. Not only can they rarely present a unified front, bad blood passed down through the generations of feuding tribes makes sure of that, but they also support the ways of old that would see the faction itself divided into different social strata with conflicting class interests. Very next generation Klingon Empire. Where it's like, if they could have a unified front, they'd be strong. But since, one family pissed off another family 200 years ago, we got to resolve that issue first.
Oh, no. It's more like Star Trek Discovery Klingon ogres.
Klingon ogres?
Yeah, they turn Klingons into ogres for Star Trek Discovery. And
Yeah.
Yeah, and all of the 24 houses were not a threat to the Federation because they were all fighting each other. They didn't have a leader that could unify all of them until they did, and then it was bad.
Okay, but what about the support at the council? The so-called nomad question has become increasingly inflamed.
Anything with like the nomad question. Really? Is it kind of like the Jewish question or the gypsy question? The answer is always death. That's the only answer people come up with.
Do we have a certain ordinal solution in here somewhere? Largely due to the emissary being offered a seat as an observer in the Council of Factions, something the nomads have never even been close to.
That's even better. Now we have the George Lucas solution. Oh no, put Anakin Skywalker on the council, but give him absolutely no power and let it simmer and create hatred until he'll turn to Vader and murder us all. Yeah, it's a good plan. Do that. Yeah, see how that works out for you.
The Nomad Federation has many allies among the Firstcome factions who think that the Federation should have been on the council since its inception. Alam's Temple and the Draconites support the Federation's claim. These two factions have enjoyed good trade with the Nomads for a long time. This isn't a bribe, is it? Not all Firstcome factions feel the same way about the Nomads, however. The Order of the Pariah and the Federation are not officially speaking to each other after the attack on the Nomad clan on Zalos B.
Tanziamat.
Yeah, Tanziamat. It's like Tiamat with a whole bunch of extra letters in there.
From Tanzania.
From see, this one says all. So the Zenithian factions are not happy with the Federation's new demands. The Consortium and to some extent the Free League, both trade-oriented groups, are suspicious towards these potential competitors, and the Legion is uneasy with the Federation's naval strength. The Zenithian hegemony has yet to air an opinion either way about the Nomads. Politics is a game of shash, after all. Shah.
What does that mean, balls?
Yeah, let's go. What are we on? The Mighty Fleet. Oh, really? The Nomad Federation controls by far the largest fleet in the horizon, although a great part of it consists of civilian ships and is spread over many systems. Recent reports suggest that the Nomads have begun forming larger armed convoys. Yeah, somebody spoke with the Force on a bulletin show saying that if the militarization of the Nomad fleet continues, the Legion will have to respond.
With what? Transport ships with pop guns? Shut the hell up.
The Legion couldn't beat. Never mind. So the Legion is going to go after 2 factions now, huh? Is that the way this is going to work?
Yeah. Like only an idiot fights an army with a whole bunch of freaking yachts and schooners and shit, which is what they have. Only the king, heir to the throne of the kingdom of idiots, fights that same war against 2 opponents at once. Stupid.
So real quickly, Ron Nibadi says Shah means king, and that makes sense. The Shah of Iran. I didn't even think about that. Like yeah, as we all know, from 1979, the fall of Iran, the Shah of Iran. Okay, that makes sense.
Game of Kings. Yeah. Politics, a game of kings. Yep.
We will have to, counter saying that the more Corsairs are stalking the Nomad routes than before because the consortium's bulk haulers have begun reaching the poorer systems where they drive out the local traders, forcing ordinary people to turn to piracy. The relations between the Federation and the Legion have since been frosty, to say the least. Okay, that is it. Now, I'm going to cover this real quickly. We're not going to read it. We're not going to dive into it. But we read the main factions, right?
Sure.
So you can have factionaries on Coriolis and in the Third Horizon. They got a little chart for that here. There are small players. The reason I'm showing this off is because you could also join a smaller faction or help a smaller faction should you so choose. And this is kind of talking about the types of missions you can have. So there are free trader markets out there, last chance markets. So what you could do is you could travel goods. You don't have to necessarily do it with the consortium. You have freelance agencies out there that all types of trade, murder for hire, FedEx. What's that?
Couriers. Yeah.
Couriers. Hey,
mercenary police force.
I'm trying. I don't know why I can visualize it, but I can't put it into English language right now. Resource gathering. Hey, we need certain resources.
Miners.
So spy nests. There you go. Hey, go find out. You know what? Go hang out with them and then report back what they do.
Okay, hang on. I think I could sum up all of the small factions in one group that will actually make sense. All of these smaller factions are independent companies, so to speak, but they're smaller companies, completely dependent on the larger companies for their survival. Meaning, all of these spies, all of these mercenaries, all of these miners, they are hired by other more of the 10 more powerful factions to do jobs for them that they don't want their fingerprints on. And that's how these smaller factions get along.
Or they do things outside of that. It could also be something outside of that as well.
It's too dangerous and not profitable enough. No, I wouldn't allow that.
That's not true. That's not true at all.
I said I wouldn't allow that. I didn't say it was true. I said I wouldn't allow it.
And then you can also have a role here to find out, trading some foods and luxuries, want you to steal some noble gases, whatever. So, and reputation, that's something here just for the purposes of role playing. So I just want to show off that, and there are other charts here, but all told, there are a bunch of different factions in here. Space caravans, you can join them. Yep. Stop on these little pages here. You can pause if you care. You can see there are lots of different people you can talk to, people you can come across. Personally, I would write the adventure instead of randomly roll, or if I randomly rolled, then I'd write the adventure based on that. But, this is if you're playing a sandboxy game and the players go somewhere else, roll here. Who do they meet?
This is your Hail Mary right here.
Yep.
Okay.
Research institutes, and I didn't think there were this many pages. I thought there were just like 4.
No.
Corporate expedition.
The starred comments.
There we go. That is it. And you can go have a lizard pet.
Awesome.
We'll end on that.
All right. Reactionary Gaming says, I know this is not going to help with the reputation of the French Canadians, but people need to stop crying about war crimes. Yes.
And he did it too. He put the period outside the quotes.
He did. I think he did it on purpose.
Maybe.
And the person that cries war crimes is the loser.
Yeah.
Nobody listens to losers.
Okay? I mean, whether true or not.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Shut up or get vengeance. That's it. Those are your 2 options. Stop bitching. Crafting Gamer put in the Max looks through his door and sees the void. His wife must have been checking on him. Yeah, we were talking about looking at the void and the void looking back at you. Well, that's Max's wife.
I already responded truth to that one.
Yeah, I know. Michael Mammoth says, I legit enjoy Heathen Dog pontificating on the social structure and social forces in RPG worlds. Fun way to reflect on how real societal forces work through the lens of fiction. Yeah, you know what? You can really tell the leanings of a writer of an RPG by how well stupid, idiotic ideas that have failed time and time again in real life suddenly work in their game, like communism and socialism. It's wonderful to see it work in a game because it's funny, because it can't work in real life.
It can
Now
if you
you know the
have some
leanings of
sort
the
of
writer.
hive mentality. And communism and socialism do work on small scale. They don't work on large scale. So
Yeah,
I
what
could
I'm
see
talking
like
about is like whole planets or
Yeah,
systems
yeah.
or it doesn't work. It doesn't scale up.
Right.
Socialism and communism works basically in from
a
your home.
commune.
Yeah, your home or your community. That's it. Your local community is where communism and socialism stop being effective. After that, you're just going to be grounded in the dirt by someone who's smarter or better than you.
And I'll go the other side for a moment. Pure democracy also has the same problem. Pure democracy, you cannot have the 51% out of a billion people running the 49%. You know, that's can't have that.
The only way pure democracy would work, which is a fantasy in itself, is if the fantasy of 98% of the federal budget is put into education. If everyone is a knowledgeable voter, I could see that as working. But guess what? That's not how the world works. That's not how humans work. That's just so so the pure democracy doesn't work. Hell, man, representative democracy, I would think, doesn't really function well. It just functions better than all the others.
Unfortunately, it's susceptible to the same things as like communism, susceptible to corruption, and it is what it is. I think representative democracy is the best potential way to get stuff done. I have never heard of another government. Monarchy would be the best of just getting things done with no checks and balances. Monarchy is by far the best way.
Benevolent monarchy is great. The only problem with the monarchy is the very next generation could be a giant shit show.
Yeah. I think representative, like ours, it's a representative republic. Is that what it is? Because it's not a democracy. Does need an educated voter. Yep. I think it is the best that we have as human society, but I think that what we need to get rid of. Nope. I'm out. I'm about to dive into politics. Not going to do that.
Okay.
Nope. So
and that's it.
All right, that's it. So awesome. Remember, next week we are going to be talking about the people and Coriolis. So I'm going to be whipping through about 75 pages, but I'm going to be picking one page here, one page there throughout different parts of the book. I don't think it'll be too long because I'm not going to dive into too much stuff. I just want to show you guys certain aspects of what Coriolis is. We will talk about some of the floor plan of Coriolis as presented in the book, but not too much of that. And then we'll look at the people and the culture real quickly, just what you see what's out there, and probably just page through. I'm not going to talk about them. Some of the crazy, weird, nasty things that you can find out there in space that you'd be like, oh, I thought this game was almost more, more realistic than that. And then you're going to find jinnies and all types of weird little space ghost monsters out there.